Welcome back, Deadites and Ghost Beaters, and if you're new to the channel, I am Oldhead Gaming, horror content creator and variety streamer, and as we all know, on Monday, the new Prestige system dropped, increasing the availability of replay value, and of course, we're going to talk about that a little more over the weekend when I dive into a full, week review of how I feel about the Prestige system, but today we're going to talk about something equally important, and that is maps. Maps are one of those things that really break up the monotony of gameplay as you have different locations, you're not at the same place. And this is one of those things that have been kind of horrifically neglected as the game has been out 6 months and we've received a grand total of 0 maps since launch. Now you're going to say, Oldhead, wait up! We did get Castle Candor on July 13th, and you are correct, but I don't consider that actual additional content due to the fact that it was actually supposed to be available at launch. So really, it's more late content because they chose not to delay the game and just drop with the Puppeteer map and the Henrietta map, and then they added, of course, Evil Ash's map back in on July 13th during the Army of Darkness patch. So really, we haven't got a single one since, and it's one of those things that really needs to be addressed, especially with the fact that they've now relegated missions to being absolutely worthless in the last 2 patches. This should be the focus of the additional free-to-play content that they added and made updates, because missions 2 patches ago added the 7th mission with absolutely no reward other than a Nobi tape. Last patch, they also unlocked all the rewards, so if you didn't have Pablo, or you didn't have Arthur, or you didn't have Amanda, you just got them. So there's really no big reward coming anymore from the actual mission completion. And hell, we also heard that the mission for Adios Elagos was completely removed and has been thrown in the shit can. So missions doesn't seem to be the best focus for them. Instead, they should be turning their attention to maps. And one of the things I will say, there's 2 caveats. One, I completely ignored Evil Dead Rise just because we're not really sure how that's all going to play out when it comes out in April, looking at how apartment complex would work as a possible map. And the second thing is, 4 out of the 5 maps are going to be Ash vs. the Evil Dead, and there has been problems bringing in additional content for that part of the franchise. As we all know, we got 4 characters, and Evil Ash's funeral skin was the reward for the 2nd mission. We haven't received any other characters or skins since then. Pablo, Kelly, and Amanda still only have 1 skin. They're 3 of the 5 characters who don't have a skin you can flip to if you're playing them. So that is the only thing to watch out with, is what's going on with Saber and Stars for these maps. And so 4 out of the 5 are going to be Ash versus the Evil Dead because there's just a treasure trove of locations. And we're going to start out with map 1. And map 1 is going to depend on how Saber would do this. I'm going to call it map 1A and 1B, just because most likely, knowing how Saber loves to make these mega large maps, or probably would just make Elk Grove 1 map. I look at it as kind of a possibility for 2. You could have more of a centralized Elk Grove, where it's kind of the inner city of Elk Grove, where you have, the bar, you have Brock's house. Probably include the school in there where the fight happened, where they saved Brandy. You would include Brock's hardware store, all that kind of inner city, Elk Grove, the police station, those types of things. And then you can go more to outskirts Elk Grove and have a wider, more open Elk Grove map, where you include the demolition derby, the strip club, of course, the asylum, and you can go in the asylum and have to deal with all the 3 tiers that have of the asylum, including the basement where Ruby was attacked, versus upstairs where the whole Jefe Pablo scene took place. And there's a lot of variation that can occur there on Elk Grove. Now, conversely, map 2 would be the Nega, the upside down version of Elk Grove, and that's the Deadlands. And that's, of course, was accessed through the portal in the basement of Brock's shop. And basically, it was the darker version, where the dark ones were locked away by Kira and Ruby. And you had all sorts of spooky, scary stuff going on. It's a much darker map. I think it'd be actually really cool to see that version as a playable map of Elk Grove. Number 3. Well, this is very simple. Number 3 would be Jacksonville, and it leaves a very different ability that Saber could have a complete reign of whatever they want to do with it. When it comes to Jacksonville, we only ever really saw 2 things. In season 1, we saw that dock that Ash dreamt about all the time, where he would go and drink beer and fish with his iguana. And, you know, that is kind of where Ruby tried to transport him to. And then we saw in the very opening of season 2, the tiki bar that Ash ran with Pablo and Kelly, where Ruby sent her demons to bring him back. And, you know, there's those types of things, and you could add whatever you want. You make it very beach-like with some ocean, some cool stuff that as we've not seen for a map for Evil Dead the game. Now, finally, the last 2 maps are kind of similar, but yet different. So the first one is going to be Future Wasteland, which was the end of Ash versus Dead. After they escaped the Deadlands and transported to the future, and there was robots, and you know, the whole world was ending. This is where season 4 was supposed to take place, and it gives them an opportunity to kind of expand that Ash versus the Evil Dead universe with a brand new map, maybe add the robot as a character. There's a lot of stuff that could really work for this and make it pretty cool. Conversely, map 5 would have been the original ending of Army of Darkness. Now, if you've only seen the American version of Army of Darkness, Ash gets transported back, and you see him working at the S-Mart, where eventually he's attacked by a Deadite at the end, and of course it closes with Hail to the King, baby. But in the original version, and the version that aired in Great Britain, he was transported to a destroyed version of London. You see a broke down Big Ben, the whole place is on fire, and it was supposed to set up the 4th movie that of course never did happen. And Ash was going to be fighting in the future, and both of those maps could have completely different looks. One is more of a future Elk Grove, one is a dystopian future of London, completely different areas. They can do so much stuff with that. It would give so much originality to the creators. And let's be honest, I think the Army of Darkness one is probably more likely, because let's be honest, MGM just seems to be like, do whatever the fuck you want to do. It doesn't matter to us, as they keep cranking out characters and skins from Army of Darkness. Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think of any maps that I didn't mention? Where would you like to see this game go map-wise? How important are maps even are to you? Are you like 3's fine? Or do you like, give me them all? I want to know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching, and later, mates.